Yeah, so the biggest things that he had told me was you have the tangibles that you can't teach, meaning showing up early, having a good demeanor, working well with the guys, being relatable, certain things that most individuals might not necessarily have at my age, because I was pretty young when I was in that position. And I had the tangibles and the opportunity to grow with the things that I wasn't familiar with, like the science and how to command a weight room. So having the tools that aren't teachable or might not be the easiest to learn were kind of the things that separated me from interns in that class that I was with or interns that he had in the past. A comment that he had made was I had set the gold standard for an internship. And so it was kind of it was a good moment because it made me proud of the work that I did, because it was a whole year of showing up and making sure that the stuff that was the easiest stuff, or because the job, what I realized was as an intern or an assistant, you got to make your boss's job the easiest as it can be. So the easiest things that can get done, take care of it so they don't have to worry about that. So one of the biggest things when I was at Nebraska with Coach Joseph was getting there early and having the setup for the weight room lift session that day complete before he even was out of his office. Because I would usually show up, I would start setting up, and then he would come out. We would talk about our plan for the day, kind of go over the session, what the expectations are, and then guys would start fluttering in and we would get to work. So having that done so we could just talk about the session and get right to guys when they start coming in versus waiting for him to say, okay, let's start setting up. And now we're setting up when guys are getting ready to roll. Little things like that allowed for so much more fluidity with the session, and it just made the day so much easier. And a lot of the other interns weren't necessarily doing that. And I think those are kind of the little things that had stuck out, because there were interns that had more background than I did in science, and at that time were maybe more qualified to run a lift session and knew how to command a room because I was just getting started. But I would argue that in other ways, I provided more value for the men's basketball team and Coach Joseph because of what I was doing.
Well, see, I think that's the important thing, too, for people to understand is that what you bring to the table as far as your knowledge, your background, your experience is one thing.